Hello dear students. So last class we have discussed about lens makers formula. So according to that formula we know that 1 by f is equal to n21 minus 1 into 1 divided by r1 minus 1 divided by r2. So this is the formula. So we know that relation between relative refractive index and absolute refractive index. Therefore we can write 1 by f is equal to n2 divided by n1 minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 divided by r2. So we can express a refractive index in terms of velocity of light and also in terms of wavelength of light. We know that a relation between refractive index and velocity of light or wavelength of light. Therefore 1 by f is equal to, in the place of refractive index I am going to write velocity of light in first medium to the velocity of light in second medium minus 1 into 1 by r1 divided by 1 by r1 minus 1 divided by r2, or 1 by f is equal to lambda 1 divided by lambda 2 minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 divided by r2 so that means focal length of a lens that depends upon a refractive index of material of the lens, a refractive index of the surrounding medium, radii of curvature, velocity or wavelength of light used. So on these factors the wavelength of focal length of lens depends. So therefore focal length of a lens of a lens depends on a refractive index of material of the lens, Ri of material of the lens, Ri of surrounding medium, Ri of the surrounding medium radii of curvature because it is bounded by two surfaces. Radii of curvature, then velocity or wavelength of light. Of light used. Okay, and these factor the focal length of lens depends. For 2 marks they may ask on which factors focal length of lens depends. Then your answer is among these 4 you can write any 2. So on the basis of this, so they are going to manufacture a lens of required focal length. So next, we know that when a parallel beam of light is made to pass through convex lens, then it converges the light beam. For example, if I am going to consider, so this one is our convex lens. When parallel beam of light is made to pass through this convex lens, after refraction it converges the light beam. For that reason this convex lens is also known as converging lens. If suppose this lens is concave lens, when parallel beam of light is made to pass through this concave lens, after refraction it produces divergent beam of light, and hence this lens is also known as diverging lens. So convex lens light beam na converge ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ concave light beam na diverge ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ refraction ಆದ ನಂತರ. On the basis of this we can study the power of lens. Power of a lens ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆನ್ಸು ಲೈಟ್ ಬೀಮ್ನ ಕನ್ವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕನ್ವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಡೈವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡೈವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. In another way we can say ability of the lens. The ability of the lens to diverge or to converge a light beam. So that is known as power of the lens. So next concept is power of the lens. Power of a lens. In general, power of a lens is nothing but it is an ability of a lens to diverge or converge a beam of light falling on it. So this is known as power of the lens. It is an ability of a lens to diverge or to converge a beam of light falling on it. So here I am going to consider a convex lens in order to discuss about power of a lens. So let us consider a thin convex lens. Thin convex lens. Principal axis, the segment passing through center of curvature and optical center. Let us say this point to be the optical center. So let us consider a light ray. which is parallel to the principal axis. Direction of incident light ray. So we know that condition for drawing the images in case of lens, if light ray is parallel to the principal axis, after refraction, the refracted light ray passes through a point on the principal axis. That point is known as principal focus. Therefore, so here after refraction, the refracted light ray passes through a point on the principal axis. This point is known as principal focus. So, and it is represented by capital F, direction of refracted light ray. So, this is the point of incidence. Actual path of incident light ray. If there is no convex lens here, then light would travel along this dotted segment, along this path. But in the presence of this convex lens, there is a change in path of light by an angle. Let us say this angle is theta. Actually, light straight ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಈ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಇದು ಡಿಬೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ತನ್ನ ಪಾತ್ನ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಗಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಥೀಟಾ. ನಾವು ಕಾನ್ಕೇವ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಡೈವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ನಾವು ಕಾನ್ವೆಕ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಲೈಟ್ ರೇ ಕನ್ವರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. The light ray undergo deviation from its actual path by an angle theta. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಲೆನ್ಸು ಲೈಟ್ ರೇನ ಕನ್ವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕನ್ವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಲೆನ್ಸು ಲೈಟ್ ರೇನ ಡೈವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಲೈಟ್ ಬೀಮ್ನ ಡೈವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡೈವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯೋದು. ಲೆನ್ಸಿನ ಕೆಲಸ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಲೈಟ್ ಬೀಮ್ನ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ಕನ್ವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕಾನ್ವೆಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ. ಲೈಟ್ ಬೀಮ್ನ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಡೈವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಕಾನ್ಕೇವ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಕನ್ವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಡೈವರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. So this is known as power of the lens. So here, so there is a deviation from the path of the light ray by an angle theta. So this is the point of incidence from optical center. Let us say O be the optical center. Height of this point of incidence from the optical center, let us say this height is equal to h. We don't know this height. The distance between optical center and principal focus, this distance is known as focal length, and it is represented by small f. So here this angle is equal to theta. From geometry we can say this angle is also equal to theta because alternate angles. So we can discuss this angle theta at this point or at this point because both are same. Why should we prefer to define angle theta at this point? Because here we will get a right angled triangle. So in case of right angled triangle, here O, let us say M be the point of incidence, M be the point of incidence, or AM, incident light ray. So here OM or O to M, we are going to plot a segment from O to M. Here M is nothing but point of incidence, or the distance at which light ray collides the convex lens from optical center, and this is a known quantity. OF is also known quantity. So in this right angled triangle, here these two segments are known segments. Therefore I am going to try to define this angle theta in terms of known segments. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಅಷ್ಟು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಆ್ಯಂಗಲ್ನ ಅಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಗಲ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ಆ್ಯಂಗಲ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನು ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮತ್ತು ಎಫ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಪವರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಲೆನ್ಸ್. So here we know that the trigonometric function, so which gives the relation between opposite side and adjacent side, that a trigonometric function is tan trigonometric function. Therefore I am going to define this angle theta in terms of tan trigonometric function, that is opposite side divided by adjacent side. So power of the lens is also defined as it is tangent of the angle, because in terms of h and f I am defining this angle theta in terms of h and f. It is tangent of the angle at which a lens diverges or converges a beam of light falling on it at a certain distance from the optical center. This definition is also known as power of the lens. So mathematically we can write power of the lens the tangent of the angle is the tangent of the angle at which a lens converges or diverges a beam of light falling on it. So this is also same definition. This is a tangent of the angle that represents ability, bend ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅಂತ. So that is nothing but power of the lens. So we can write power of the lens according to this definition. Therefore here power of the lens, it is represented by capital P. This is equal to tangent of the angle, that is tan theta. So let us say this is equation number 1. Now from this right angled triangle, from right angled triangle, OMF define tan trigonometric function, that is opposite side divided by adjacent side, that is tan theta is equal to opposite side OM divided by adjacent side or base OF, or this is equal to OMH, OF focal length. Therefore, tan theta is equal to H by F. Equation number 2. From equation number 1 and 2, P is equal to tan theta is equal to H by F. Therefore, from 1 and 2, we can write power of the lens is equal to H by F. If H is equal to 1 unit, then P is equal to 1 by F. That means it is inversely proportional to focal length. Power of the lens is inversely proportional to focal length of the given lens. On what basis we can consider this H is equal to 1 unit? See here for the first time we are using this term, power of the lens. In such condition, we can consider this constant. So here H is nothing but a constant. So this constant is equal to 1 unit. So we don't know that particular height from the optical center. For example, we know that Newton's second law of motion, that is F is directly proportional to m into A. So while discussing about Newton's laws of motion, for the first time we are going to discuss about definition of force. Therefore, here we are going to write F is equal to constant into m into A. Here this constant is nothing but 1 unit, because for the first time we are using this term here. Therefore, when k is equal to 1 unit, then F is equal to m into A according to Newton's second law of motion. Here k is equal to 1 unit. But we are not write k is equal to 1 unit in electrostatic force. That means a force between two charged particles. So that is F is equal to, F is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 divided by R square. F is equal to K into Q1 Q2 divided by R square. Here we will not write K is equal to 1, because already we have used this force in Newton's laws of motion. Therefore, it has some value, that is 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. F is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 divided by R square. Therefore, if we are going to use the constant terms for the first time, we can consider that constant is equal to 1 unit. Therefore, here for the first time we are going to use this power of the lens, and hence I am going to take this H is equal to 1 unit. Then we will get P is equal to 1 by F, or P is inversely proportional to focal length. If H is constant, then P is inversely proportional to focal length. So greater the focal length, smaller will be the power of that lens. Smaller the focal length, greater will be the power of the lens. Okay. Now, usually I think you are familiar about this one. So when we go to eye test, In the prescription they are going to mention some values like minus 0.5, plus 0.5, minus 1.5, plus 1.5, plus 2, minus 2, like that. Those values represent power of the lens. On what basis they are going to write the sign plus and minus? In case of convex lens, we will get a real principal focus, and in case of a concave lens, we will get virtual principal focus. So, focal length of a convex lens in terms of positive sign, and focal length of a concave lens in terms of negative sign. If f is positive, then p is positive. If f is negative, p is negative. Therefore, power of the lens is positive for convex lens and power of the lens is negative for concave lens. So, this spectacle, that means I have a minus 0.5 lens in my spectacle, that represents this lens is concave lens, minus 0.5. Minus 0.5 means that negative sign represents concave lens. So, if you want, you can write here power of the lens is positive for convex lens. Power of the lens is negative for concave lens. Okay. Then SI unit of power of the lens. SI unit of power of the lens. So, SI unit of power of the lens is diopter. So, it is represented by capital D. So, here power of the lens is said to be 1 diopter when its focal length is 1 meter. Sometimes in your examination they are going to ask to define SI unit of power of the lens. So, here SI unit of power of the lens is diopter, or symbolically we can write capital D. So, definition: SI unit of power of the lens is said to be 1 diopter if its focal length is 1 meter. So, that is the definition for a SI unit of power of the lens. Okay, so this is all about SI unit of power of a lens, definition for power of a lens, and SI unit of power of a lens, and definition for SI unit of power of the lens. And next we are going to consider combination of lenses. The first, now what is the need to consider combination of the lenses? What is the use to consider combination of the lenses? ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಲೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಜೋಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅಡ್ವರ್ಟೈಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಕೆಲವು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಿಮಗೆ 3 ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, 4 ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, 5 ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ನೋಡಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮೆಗಾಫಿಕ್ಸಲ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ 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 ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ದು ಇಮೇಜ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಕೂಡ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೇ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ we can increase the sharpness of the image. So we can increase the sharpness of the image by considering combination of lenses. Similarly, in case of microscope, so we know that microscope is made up of 2 types of lenses: objective lens and eyepiece. Again, in that instrument we are going to consider combination of lenses to view smaller object clearly, distinctly. Similarly, in case of compound microscope, similarly in case of telescope. So like this, in order to increase sharpness of the image, or in order to obtain ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಫೈಡ್ ಇಮೇಜ್, ಭಾಳ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದರದ್ದು ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಫೈಡ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ನ ನಾವು ತೊಗೋಬೋದು. ದೆನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಟ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. Therefore, we are going to prefer combination of lenses. The reason behind to consider combination of lenses is to obtain magnified image of an object or to increase sharpness of the image. So next, let us consider the combination of lenses. Next one, combination of lenses. So in our syllabus they have given 2 thin convex lenses are in contact. Now what is the focal length of that combination? Even we can consider convex concave lens, concave concave, or convex convex. So now I am going to consider 2 thin convex lenses in contact. So in your annual examination they will ask, derive an expression for effective focal length or equivalent focal length when 2 thin convex lenses are in contact. Even by considering convex concave we will get the same relation. But in our syllabus they have mentioned two thin convex lenses in contact. Therefore, now I am going to consider two thin convex lenses in contact. Equivalent focal length when two thin convex lenses are in contact. Equivalent focal length when two thin convex lenses are in contact. Let us consider two thin convex lenses. Principal axis. So let us consider our point object lies on this principal axis. This is the center of the combination. So let us consider the light rays moving towards this combination. So we are discussing equivalent focal length when two thin convex lenses in contact. Therefore, I am going to consider the light rays which are only moving towards this combination. First light ray, direction of incident light ray, another light ray along the principal axis, direction of incident light ray. Then it undergoes a refraction, and finally it meets the principal axis at this point. Direction of a refracted light ray. Let us say OB, the object, lies on the principal axis. Finally, these two refracted light rays. So here this incident light ray is made to pass through optical center of this lens and optical center of this lens, and hence this light ray proceeds without any deviation. And finally these two refracted light rays are going to meet at this point. So this point represents image of this object. Let us say I be the image of that object. So in case of combination of lenses, distances are measured from center of the combination. So here distance between object and center of the combination, this distance is known as object distance. It is measured in terms of small u. Distance between center of the combination and image, this distance is known as image distance and it is represented by V. So let us name this lens as L1 lens this lens has L2 lens, and focal length of this lens is f1 and focal length of this lens is f2. So this is the combination of two thin convex lenses in contact. Now brief explanation about this ray diagram. So let us consider two thin convex lenses L1 and L2 of focal length or you can write L1 and L2 of focal length f1 and f2. Are in contact. In contact coaxially. coaxially ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದೇ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. in contact coaxially. So O is our object. Object lies on the principal axis. I image of the object O. Okay. Now individually I am going to consider refraction through L1, refraction through L2. So let us consider refraction through first lens in the absence of second lens. So while deriving this equivalent focal length, here I am going to consider thin lens formula, because already we have considered two thin convex lenses in contact. Therefore, I am going to use thin lens formula. We know that thin lens formula that is 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. Let us name this equation as equation number 1. Focal length of the lens, image distance, object distance. Then refraction at L1 refraction at L1 in the absence of L2. So refraction at L1 in the absence of L2, you just imagine yourself there is no L2. Then light would travel along this path and finally meet the principal axis at this point. So let us plot the ray diagram. Refraction at L1. Convex lens L1, principal axis, point object, incident light ray, direction of incident light ray, another incident light ray through optical center, and finally this incident light ray meets the principal axis at some point, and these two refracted light rays are going to meet at this point. Therefore, this point gives the image of this object O. This image is due to first lens, that is L1 lens. Let us name this image as I1. Image due to L1 is I1. This distance is object distance, distance between optical center and position of the object. Distance between optical center and position of the image, this distance is image distance. Let us say V1 be the image distance. Here F1 is nothing but focal length of this convex lens. Then from this ray diagram, focal length of the lens F1. So here let us say F1, focal length of L1 lens. Next, image distance. Here image distance is V1. Therefore, V1 image distance next we want object distance. From this ray diagram, UV is our object distance. Object distance. Then by substituting these terms in equation number 1, that means I am going to apply thin lens formula for this L1 lens. Equation 1 becomes 1 by F. Instead of F, I am going to write F1. So this is equal to 1 by V. V is equal to V1 minus 1 by U. U is equal to U. Equation number 2. So here, according to Cartesian sign convention, we know that focal length of convex lens is in terms of positive sign because it has a real principal focus. And here V1, all distances measured from optical center. Direction of this measurement is left to right. Direction of incident light beam left to right. Both are in the same direction. Therefore, V1 is in terms of positive sign. Distance between optical center and position of the object. This distance is known as object distance, and direction of measurement is right to left, and direction of incident light beam left to right. So both are in opposite direction. Therefore, this U is in terms of negative sign. Therefore, this U is in terms of negative sign. Similarly, refraction at L2 in the absence of L1. Refraction at L2 in the absence of L1. So as like as this case, now we can analyze so refraction at L2 in the absence of L1. So let us plot the ray diagram. Principal axis. In the absence of L2, sorry, in the absence of L1, direction of incident light ray, actual path of incident light ray. Direction of incident light ray, direction of refracted light ray. L2 lens, focal length let us say f2. So here this point is I1 because this is the position of the image in the absence of L2. In the absence of a real object with respect to L2, there is no real object. So our real object is O. So we are considering the light from the real object, we are not considering the real object. Therefore this is our incident light ray. For L1 this light ray is a refracted light ray, for L2 this light ray is incident light ray. Therefore there is no real object here. In the absence of a real object, its image acts as virtual object. Already ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ನ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಯಲ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ರಿಯಲ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ದ ಇಮೇಜನ್ನು ನಾವು ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Therefore, in the presence of L1, I1 is image of this real object. Therefore, in the absence of L1, this image acts as virtual object. ಇದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಇಮೇಜ್ ಯಾವುದು I1, ಈ I1 ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಆಗಿ ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Therefore, refraction at L2, I1 acts as virtual object. And finally, image of I1 lies at this point. Image of I1 lies at this point. And this is the final image. And let us say that final image is I. So direction of another incident light ray, direction of another refracted light ray, because this light ray is made to pass through optical center. So this is a thin lens and hence that light ray proceeds without any deviation. So let us consider virtual object distance. This distance V1, virtual object distance. Image distance V. See here, in case of L1, V1 is image distance. In case of L2, V1 is object distance. That is virtual object distance. Now brief explanation about this ray diagram. So here F2, focal length, of L2. Next we want image distance. So here I is image of I1. I1 is virtual object. Therefore image distance is V. V image distance. Next we want object distance. I1 acts as virtual object, therefore V1 is object distance. V1 object distance. Then equation 1 becomes, I am going to substitute these all terms in equation number 1. 1 becomes one by F2 is equal to image distance. Image distance is V 1 by V minus object distance U. Here object distance is V1, 1 divided by V1. Equation number 3. Here this negative sign represents sign convention with respect to a real object. So this is in terms of positive sign because this measurement is in the direction of incident light. Therefore this is in terms of negative sign, sorry, positive sign. Now from equation number 2 and 3, because we are combining these two lenses. So 1 by F1 adding 1 and 2 1 plus F 1 plus F1 plus 1 divided by F1 plus 1 divided by F2 is equal to from 2 and 3, not 1 and 2, 2 and 3, adding equation 2 and 3. From 2, 1 by V1 minus 1 by U. From 3, plus 1 by V minus 1 by V1 plus 1 by V1 minus 1 by V1 get cancelled. So 1 by F1 plus 1 by F2 is equal to 1 by V minus 1 divided by U. Equation number 4. So ಈ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ನಿಂದ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸು ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಫ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ರೀಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ another thin convex lens, a focal length f, which is also producing the image at the same position as if that image is produced by combination of lenses. ಅಂದರೆ ಇವೆರಡೂ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ ಆ ಕೆಲಸನ ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲೆನ್ಸ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಲೆನ್ಸು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇವೆರಡೂ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಕೆಲಸನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇವೆರಡೂ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಸೇರಿ ಫೈನಲ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ನಾಗಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ದಿಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 5 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಾನ್ವೆಕ್ಸ್ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ 5 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಇವೆರಡೂ ಲೆನ್ಸಸ್ಸು ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಲಸನ ಅದೊಂದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Therefore, so here let us consider a thin convex lens let us consider an equivalent thin convex lens of focal length f or better you write if this combination is replaced by an then easily you can understand. If this combination is replaced by an equivalent thin convex lens of focal length f, then so this is the thin convex lens. Object O, incident light rays, refracted light rays, direction. This is the final image. Object distance, image distance. It produces the image at the same position as if produced by the combination of lenses. Then that lens is said to be equivalent lens. Which produces image at the same position as if produced by the combination. It produces the image at the same position as if produced by the combination. So in examination you just write if this combination is replaced by an equivalent thin convex lens of focal length f, that's enough. For your understanding purpose I am writing these all things. Even these 3 ray diagrams are also not required. Just you plot this ray diagram and refraction at L1, explain a refraction at L1, refraction at L2, adding 2 and 3 and writing the thin lens formula by considering this thin convex lens. Then finally you will get the result. Therefore, with respect to this lens, so focal length of this lens is F, which produces image at same position. So this is equal to 1 by V minus 1 divided by U, equation number 5. So this measurement is in the direction of incident light, therefore this value is in terms of positive sign. This measurement is opposite to the direction of incident light beam, therefore this distance is in terms of negative sign. From 4 and 5, from equation number 4 and 5, we can write 1 by F is equal to 1 by F1 plus 1 divided by F2. So this is the effective focal length or equivalent focal length when two thin convex lenses are in contact. So in terms of power of the lens, so we know that power of the lens is inversely proportional to focal length. Therefore, instead of 1 by F, I am going to write P is equal to P1 plus P2. So in the absence of L2, so in the diagram if you want you can plot, if you are going to proceed this light ray, it meets the principal axis at some point. So this is I1, that means image with respect to L1 in the absence of L2, I1. Then in the absence of L1, I1 acts as virtual object and its image lies at I. Therefore, here this distance is B1. So try to remember all the mathematical steps. If suppose n number of thin convex lenses in contact coaxially, then for n number of lenses we will get 1 by F is equal to 1 by F1 plus 1 by F2 plus up to 1 by Fn. So this is the equation for effective focal length when n number of thin lenses are in contact. Then power of the lens becomes, power of the lens is equal to P is equal to P1 plus P2 plus up to Pn, power of the lens. N number of lenses in contact. N number of thin convex lenses in contact coaxially. So while solving the numericals, so we can condense this equation. While condensing that equation, it is helpful to solve the numerical, and easily we can recall that equation. Then 1 by f LCM f1 f2 in numerator into f2 plus into f1, or f1 plus f2, or f is equal to f1 f2 divided by f1 plus f2. So this is also expression for equivalent focal length. If suppose thin convex lens and thin concave lens are in contact, thin convex and concave. Thin convex lens and thin concave lens in contact. For competitive examination purpose, so this type of idea is very essential. So this is convex lens, and this one is concave lens. So we know that focal length of convex lens in terms of positive sign and focal length of concave lens in terms of negative sign. Then effective focal length becomes 1 by f is equal to 1 by f1 minus 1 by f2. The combination is convex and concave. Then 1 by f is equal to 1 by f is equal to 1 by f1 minus 1 divided by f2. So if you want here, you can write f is equal to f1 f2 divided by f1 plus f2. Then now condensing this equation, 1 by f is equal to LCM f1 f2 into f2 minus f1, then f is equal to f1 f2 divided by f2 minus f1. If suppose here in this combination f1 is equal to f2, f1 is equal to f2 means this denominator term becomes 0. So anything divided by 0 means infinity. So focal length of infinity means this combination behaves like a plain glass sheet. So we know that focal length of a plain glass sheet is infinity. For competitive examination purpose, these points are very important. If f1 is equal to f2, then f is equal to infinity. Combination behaves like a plain glass sheet. If f1 is greater than f2, f1 is greater than f2. f1 is greater than f2 means this term will get this term in terms of negative sign. That means focal length is in terms of negative sign means this combination behaves like a concave lens. Then f is negative, it behaves like a concave lens. Similarly, if f1 is less than f2, f1 is less than f2, then this term is in terms of positive sign. Then f is positive, and combination behaves like a convex lens because focal length of a convex lens is in terms of positive sign. So try to recall these all formulae. So these are very essential to solve the various numericals in our competitive examination. So next class I am going to discuss about optical instruments.